Enjoy this free preview from MyOutdoorTV. With the largest library of outdoor shows, we're the home of the adventurous, the champions, the legends. MyOutdoorTV. Try us free.
This week we're kicking off season 17 of Bow Madness up in our favorite spot, Alberta, Canada, with good buddy Corey Jarvis at Three Rivers Adventures.
Well, we're always excited to have the Drury's back up here in Alberta. It's a time we look forward to every year, and also it's the start of the season every year.
First up, Todd Bigby is on his maiden voyage up north, and it proves to be quite the challenge.
That old boy's from down in Alabama. He's a turkey killer. That's how I met him. And our goal is this year to get Todd on his first mule deer ever. Feels like the first time, if you will.
53 years old and feels like my first hunt ever, first mule deer hunt.
Then we'll continue stalking through the vast plains of Alberta as I attempt a shot that I couldn't have expected. All this and more as we kick off this heart-pounding, spine-tingling, rip-roaring 17th season of Bow Madness. One of the most special things about this trip this year is having our good friend Todd Bigby along. It's his first ever mule deer hunt.
Well, when I got the call from good friend Mark Drury about coming up here to southern Alberta, this is something that I wanted to do all my life, spot and stalk mule deer.
How's it going, Todd? How you doing? You excited?
Yes, sir.
First trip up to Alberta?
Yeah.
It's those big muleys.
Yeah, first time mule deer hunt.
Finally met up with Todd, and we are on our first leg of this journey. Gonna get to Chicago and then jump on another plane and go on to Calgary.
Corey, we're on our way.
We finally made it to the promised land. Just got to grab our bags and about a 2-hour drive. So we'll head south to Corey's, get our bows out, shoot a little bit. Most important bag of the trip.
Got the hardware.
How's it going?
Good. You made her back for another one.
We did. Good seeing you, buddy.
Good to see you.
After we give Corey that warm greeting, we're gonna get out our bows, make sure everything's still dialed in after those flights.
We're excited to get out here for the first afternoon, and we're gonna be happy no matter what.
Let's do it.
We're legal. Most important thing.
Probably one of the most anticipating nights of the whole hunt is that first evening, getting to go look and see who the target buck is for opening morning.
So I've seen mule deer out places, but I've never actually seen a real giant one in the wild, and boy, we saw some really big ones, and boy, was I excited to get to go the next morning. Waiter, you ready to get after it?
Oh man, I am.
53 years old and feels like my first hunt ever, first mule deer hunt.
Well, just like that, we get back over to the canola field from the night before. Todd gets that loop-holed spotter out and gets his eyes right on his target.
Big 4x4, he's going out in the canola. Really, really nice deer. Oh, it's exciting, beautiful morning. Happy to be here.
Pretty calm looking day today, Wade.
It's never good. We got our target, just don't have the wind.
The good news is we found the deer we're after. Now we'll see what we can do with him.
All right, well, been watching these bucks all morning and fixing to take off on the first stalk of the year.
Lots of time that standing canola can be too tall. That causes a lot of problems because you don't have much of a shot opportunity. So you got to look for those opportunities when they get into some low ground.
Down to 300 yards. So quiet. We're going to be struggling here. You have to go slow.
I mean, those deer stood up, and boy, they were straight on, and you like that deer to be broadside or quartering away, and that's not what we got.
Close but no cigar. Stood up facing us. We never had a shot. So we eventually got too nervous.
Yeah, just a little too poultry.
Made the right choice.
One advantage we have out here in this country is that we could watch for miles and miles. It's just flat, and luckily he bounded out there, started feeding again. He ended up rebedding. We were able to put our heads together, come up with a new game plan.
It's round two. He's about 350 yards. Right over there, so same buck calmed back down. We're after him again. Well, he did it to us again. 40 yards. Stood up, looking right at us.
Again, stock number 2, and the buck gives us no shot opportunity. But nonetheless, Corey got us in close. Unbelievable day. We got 2 opportunities at that big guy. Unfortunately, nothing came together for us.
This deer's not alarmed. He just went right out there and went back to feeding. The wind's supposed to pick up tomorrow. Maybe we can get a crack at him tomorrow.
Windmills ain't making any money today.
This segment presented by Victory Archery, the carbon arrow experts. Get ahead of your game with a 14-day deer cast prediction, mapping, radar, wind check, rain station, path tracking, and more. Prep, predict, and pursue with DeerCast. Bow Madness is brought to you by DeerCast, Mossy Oak brand camo, NAP broadheads, Evolved Minerals and Feed, Rogue Ridge e-bikes, Reconyx game cameras, Tenzing packs, Scentlock, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, Hawk, and presented by Mathews Archery.
Well, here we go for morning number 2. Yesterday was just a great day. Had 2 close encounters and just couldn't take frontal lone shots or we'd have us a mule deer. So looking forward to this morning, and we'll go back out and try to get on them.
Came back out looking for our buck out in these big, massive canola fields where we spent the day yesterday. I was telling them the story about the buck that got in the corral, and Todd looks over at me and says, "I think there's a buck in the corral." Sure enough, the buck we chased all day in the canola yesterday decided he's gonna go stay out of the wind and the sun and lay in this catch pen corral up here. So see if we get close enough, and he's got to come out one way or another, so we'll see what happens.
Here we are, day 2, and we're going back after that big 4x4. I think Todd's pretty excited and is getting the feel for this whole spot and stock mule deer game.
We're getting really close. Right about 40 yards from the corral. Just an old dilapidated corral. He's just going up and laying up against the boards in there. It's all broke down and stuff. We think he should come out this side though.
We're waiting for him to come out to the broken down side. We'll see what happens. We're about 40 yards. Wish us luck.
We were getting in on this buck for the 3rd stalk, and we want to try to get to like 35 because the wind was really giving us some trouble. And lo and behold, he stood up.
We get up on this old joker and he catches us a little off guard. We're still trying to get into position, but he stood up again, same thing, facing right towards us.
Round 3, he's wound up, went down, and we saw him cross the road. He went back into the canola where he was at yesterday and went and laid down, but we got wind today, so we're gonna try to make another stalk and go in for take 4. You ready, Waiter?
4 is the time. 4 is our time.
Jeez.
This was so different. I mean, from the hurdles of getting by these animals, hearing and sight is some of the best I've ever hunted.
Time for round 4. We got wind today, though. We're gonna drop off this hill, head to the north, and then try to get around on the southeast side of him and try to get him, make a stalk on him.
He ended up bedding down in a pretty good position, not far off the edge of this canola field, where we were able to sneak into position. He was quartered away slightly, maybe touched broadside, and Corey got us right in on this buck. That buck kind of whirls around and we're trying to figure out, did he get in the cavity? Did he get one lung? Did he get two lung? What is going on here? Why is this buck not going down?
I thought he was going down right away, but as he got further and further and further away, we watch him. He goes about 500 yards out, beds again.
We're fixing to go out, look at there a little bit, review the deer cast track, see if we can't recover. Well, here's our arrow.
Well, after going back to camp and reviewing the footage, we felt still like it was a decent hit, but it might take a while for him to die.
I see tips in the yellows over there.
We were lucky enough to get in, get the deer killed. You can see by the results, Todd's a happy camper on his first mule deer hunt up here in Alberta.
Well, again, congratulations, Todd, on your first mule deer. That thing is an absolute giant here on day 2.
Good job, Dodder. Boom. What a deer. Look at that.
Wow, waiter. Jeez.
Welcome to Southern Alberta.
Dude.
Holy cow, that thing is enormous.
Corey, I'm one happy hunter, brother.
Thank you, sir.
I never dreamed I'd be able to get one like this. I mean, that's
Oh, he's a dandy.
beyond my dreams. He gave us a runaround, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a little bit elusive there a couple of times.
He's kept standing up, facing us, and couldn't get him where he was quartered away or broadside or even giving us even a quartering.
Got her done in the end, so that's all that
I
matters.
want to thank Wade and Mark for having me up and you having me and Miss Deanna and Hunter and your other boys. I mean, just thank you so much for having me. It means a lot to me. All right, well, let's go get him buttoned up and go get after him.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks.
This segment presented by Cyclops Lights. Get out of the dark.
Well, congratulations to Todd. What an awesome first mule deer. It was fun chasing him in that canola. It was Todd's maiden voyage behind the bow after a mule deer. Now, we're gonna put Todd on his maiden voyage behind that camera, and I'm gonna grab the Mathews, take a few shots here, and see what happens in the morning. I'm excited.
Wade's day, the weather's a little bit different, though it's getting cooler. We got a little rain in the forecast.
We go to a new area, we find this buck. It's an awesome 4x4, has about a 5-inch drop tine, and I could not be more happy than to target this buck.
Hopefully Corey can get us some close. See what happens.
The deer up here, they seem to follow the sprayer tracks in these canola fields just for the simple fact that canola is all intertwined, and so it kind of gives you an idea of which way they're headed.
These bushes where they normally go, and Corey's gonna ease around the backside, see if he can put his wind over him, get him up out of this tall canola, see if he comes towards those bushes where we're open.
This deer was on the move. We knew where he was going to go. We put Wade and Todd in front of him.
Well, we just got to our spot. We're about 45 yards from the buck. He stayed in the lower ground where the canola was a little shorter. So hopefully we'll be able to get a shot over the top of it or just through the top of it.
We get within about 50 yards, which is way too far given the wind situation. As we're just getting into position, we need to make about 10, 15 more yards. The deer spots us and bolts. He never even gives us a chance.
That didn't play out as planned. We sat on that deer for probably 2.5 hours. We made an aggressive move with this 30-some-mile-an-hour winds. It just didn't pan out, but fun hunt nonetheless. On to the next.
Close to having a really good opportunity there. He chose to go the other direction, but
Tomorrow's a new day. We're gonna get after these big mule deer once again. We are on morning 4. Wind speeds are a little lower, but we did find the buck that we filmed the evening before opening day. He was back in that same field. Hopefully he stays in that field. We'll see what happens this morning. Looking forward to it. Okay, here we go, day 4, and we got some other targets in mind, and we're gonna go out and see what we can find.
Found him.
Yes, we did. We found him. He's not too far from where he was last night. Unfortunately, he's not in a field we can hunt, but they're not settled for the morning yet anyway, so we'll see where they go. We'll just got to sit back and watch for a while.
Just an absolute giant 4x4, but unfortunately, he's not in the right field that we can hunt. But there is an old homestead, some bushes, some trees, and he's headed in that direction.
Well, so we got a pretty strange set of circumstances here. We thought those bucks were gonna bed around that old barn, but they didn't. They went on to the big bush pile. I pulled up deer cast, I got some distances, and what I think our plan is with this northeast wind, we're gonna get in that house, and hopefully we got a 50-50 chance that they go out the west side of the bushes, the same spot that they went in. And the furthest shot is like 70 yards across to the end of the bushes. If they make any ground at all, it'll be well within bow range. And then between the house and the barn is about 50 yards. So we're gonna sneak all the way around, get our wind right, and try and sneak into that old house and use that as a blind. But could be a long sit, but hopefully it's a beneficial long sit.
this old buck and his buddy chose to bed in a pretty unique place. We've had some luck down in here before. Brandon killed his big buck in here a couple years ago.
Trying to be as quiet as possible. These bucks weren't 100 yards from this house, so we had to be as quiet as possible, and finally we were able to get into position in this old house.
We made it.
We end up all in the house. We can see the buck in the trees. Now it's just a waiting game.
We got eyes on him, about 77 yards right now, so if they come out of the bushes, we'll be in really good shape.
This segment presented by Buck Bomb, natural and synthetic lures. Bow Madness is brought to you by DeerCast, Mossy Oak brand camo, NAP broadheads, Evolved Minerals and Feed, Zero Trace, Reconyx game cameras, Tenzing packs, Scentlock, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, Hawk, and presented by Mathews Archery.
Okay, so we spot the buck, just a giant laying there in the Caragana bushes. We range him, he's 81 yards, and all we have to do is hope he gets up and feeds out to the west towards us.
They both stood up, just browsing on the bushes.
Those bucks get up to feed. You just see them walking around. We don't know which way they're gonna go. Are they gonna go out the other end? What are they gonna do? The panic buttons were getting pushed. We actually transferred from one room of the house to the other to get a better angle.
The little one's walking back to the right. The little one, that one. I think I hit him a little far forward, but he's bleeding a lot. Man, I was shaking and it came out the end of that fast.
The deer's not doing well. You could tell he can't hardly go. We're able to watch him for a long ways, and we're just gonna give this deer some time.
Unfortunately, I did hit a little forward. However, he was gushing a lot of blood. I think I might have got a little wind drift in the house. It didn't feel like there was much wind. When we stuck our head out the window, there was a pretty good north wind, so I think I caught a little wind drift, but we're we're gonna look at deer cast track and see just what it says, but the deer just bedded 150 yards, so we'll just give him some time. Look at deer cast track. He was pouring blood, and it was bright red blood. Might have cut that jugular just a little bit. That's one good thing about these deer out here, so we can watch them from a distance and see where they go, see how they react. So I'll just sit back and watch them. Again, my apologies for the shot. It wasn't ideal, but hopefully we can get our hands on that big guy.
So after a little bit of time passes, we keep checking in on this buck, and what do you know, that giant rack is laid over, and we're able to get my hands on another Alberta giant.
Well, that's the ending that we were looking for. Again, I apologize for the shot, but just like deer cast track said, it must have caught that artery coming across the front. Let's go check him out.
Look at that thing.
Wow, what a deer. And what a story to go with it.
Look at how wide he is.
Yeah, he's awesome. Let's get him tagged up. We'll set him up and talk about him a little bit. Well, first off, I want to say thank you and thank Hunter and thank Tyler for another great trip up here to southern Alberta, Three Rivers Adventures. Killing him out of that old homestead is just unbelievable. Again, I apologize for the shot. You know, I hit a little forward. Nonetheless, ran it through deer cast track, and we knew this rain was coming, so we kept checking in on him. Here it is, 2.5 hours later, and he was laying about 100 yards from where we last saw him go down in bed. But awesome deer. I can't be more thankful and more happy. And thank you, Todd, for being behind the camera. It's his maiden voyage behind the camera, so thank you again. I appreciate it. Awesome.
Almost 2 decades we've been going up there with Corey. He's the best guide in the world when it comes to mule deer. A 182 and a 184 for Wade and Todd. I don't know that we've ever had a better trip than the one they just had.
I want to give a huge thank you to the whole province of Alberta for allowing us, people out of country, to come in to their beautiful land and enjoy the hunting. Thank you, Corey and Hunter and Tyler Jarvis, for always giving the best hospitality and always getting us on giant mule deer up here in Alberta.
Closed captioning brought to you by HHA Sports, the leader in movable archery sites for the past 20 years.
We had a dream trip. We had 2 awesome mule deer to go back with. Beautiful countries. You see the Rocky Mountains back behind me, back through there, and just God's country.